So I can see how, as an architect, you can have an impact on economic development in an area, not just with repurposing, but with helping a community grow. Can you speak to that?
So absolutely. I mentioned my involvement outside of the corporate walls of our firm, and as architects, as an architect myself, it's my purpose in life to really define what communities can be and look for opportunities to grow those communities, to support them and make them more successful. So we work with developers, we work with our chambers of commerce and some of their connections to really look deeper at opportunities within the area, whether that's a blank slate of property, what could be in that area, looking at site test fits and due diligence reports that identify creative zones where we might, again, look at a strategic placement of a particular building, or look at, as we did recently with a private developer in one of our local communities, a specific client base, even naming them, and then going to that client and saying, what do you think? Do you also envision yourself there? In an attempt to help the developers really define the opportunities and to cast that vision for the developer or for that particular tenant or client, so that they can then take that to their funders.
I love that, Melissa. You know, I recently had a property listing, a vacant piece of property, and that's exactly what we wanted to do. We saw what type of C-store needed to go there. I knew what brand I wanted to see there because I'd been visiting them in other states. They had no plans on coming to the Kentucky market, but here we get an architect, we draw it all out, we send it to them, and guess who has the property under contract? They do. That helped me so, I mean, it was just the best thing I could have done to get that property sold. And actually it was, you know, early on in the stages of it, we knew what their budget would be for that land purchase. So we set the price based on that budget, which technically was a little bit more than what my seller thought it was worth, but it worked out. And that we did that because of working with an architect like yourself to create that vision.
Yeah, it's one of the best investments that I could say a developer who's looking at a speculative type arrangement perhaps can do to reinforce the success of that sale or that purchase.
Yeah. So as agents and brokers, that's one of the things we need to be recommending during, you know, the whole entire listing process. As seller, I want you to spend X amount of dollars, and this is what I want to do because this is the best way. You know, it's so much better than showing somebody an aerial map of a vacant piece of land. People don't have visual, right? And so let's create that vision for them. You may not have to put the brand on it, but you can subconsciously draw it out to make it look exactly what it is. Is.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we did that successfully with a client recently. And they partnered with one of the local agencies where another residential development was going in to really sell to that client the prospect of it. And for a relatively low cost point, you can get an architect on board to help you with that vision casting.
Yeah, for sure.
That's so true, because you see vacant development land that just sits because you go online, you go on CoStar, Crexy, and you see just these pictures of a field. And when you can help potential clients see the vision of what this particularly could be, and getting involved with the city and county early on to get some initial pre-approvals on potential uses or site plans, I think it's a great idea. It's the difference between a proactive kick-ass broker and someone who's just throwing listings up there and seeing what'll stick, because that kind of stuff will sit. And I love the story that you told, Stephanie, about being proactive. You had a vision of someone that you saw, a certain client, to be in a specific property, and you focused and targeted your marketing specifically and using an architect to make that happen.
Oh, it was great. And I love that Melissa shared shares that understanding, because the architect I ended up using in my market was like, why are you going to waste your money doing this? I said, you'll see. And no sooner did I do it and we got it under contract, do I go back to him and say, hey, we need to move forward with this now. because, and he goes, he couldn't even believe me. Right. But that's the people that think outside the box, right? That's what makes us great at what we do. So don't just sit there with your hands under your ass. Do a little bit of the work.
Do some work.
Yeah. And for my architect friends out there, it's paid marketing.
It is.
It's getting your foot in the door with this broker and that prospective tenant. Exactly. To drive that and get you that much closer to having the final deal.
So true. Your name's on every plan that gets submitted to planning and zoning. It's on every permitting process. It's out there to everyone. I mean, and again, not only did I land a sale, he landed a client.
There you go.
And didn't even trust me.
He should have known better. He will not question you again, Stephanie.
That's right.